Good Morning Night Vale is brought to you by The Disappearances of Lydia Fontaine, a new independently produced and crowdfunded 10-episode original audio drama. Set in a deceptively familiar world of electronic surveillance and machine-mediated communication, The Disappearances of Lydia Fontaine follows Lydia Ryan and her friends, lovelorn Ethan and wannabe internet sensation Dee, as they struggle to unravel the mystery of her mother's disappearance. Escape the sinister Fontaine family, and survive the feud over her grandfather's supernatural legacy. It weaves bitter family drama and high-stakes intrigue with fantasy and cyberpunk elements to create a surreal mystery about secrets and grudges, old books, big data, and the promise of infinite knowledge. And do not forget the talking birds. It's a full-cast production with original music and a bespoke soundscape presented through a series of found-footage-style surveillance recordings. And it's important to note, this show was made entirely without generative AI. Even the computers are voiced by human actors. Episodes are free, and you can start listening right now with the Season 1 finale due to come out on August 16th. For more information, go to lydiadisappears.com. and find The Disappearances of Lydia Fontaine wherever you get your podcasts and start listening from the beginning.
Insurance isn't one size fits all, and shopping for it shouldn't feel like squeezing into something that just doesn't fit. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they show you options that fit your budget. Enough hunting for discounts, trying to calculate rates, and tinkering with coverages. Maybe you're picking out your very first policy, or maybe you're just looking for something that works better for you and your family. Either way, they make it simple to see your options. No guesswork, no surprises. Ready to see how easy and fun shopping for car insurance can be? Visit Progressive.com and give the Name Your Price tool a try. Take the stress out of shopping and find coverage that fits your life, on your terms. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
I once was lost,
but now I am fine with that.
Good morning, Night Vale. Hello, everybody. I'm Hal Lublin, and that's enough.
and I'm Symphony Sanders, and I'm always more than enough.
And I'm Meg Bashwiner, and it's never enough. Because there's just too much. And what there are too much of is episodes of Welcome to Night Vale for us to recap, because there's just so many wonderful episodes. We don't have all the time in the world to dedicate to this, but we have this time now. We're going to be recording the recap episode of the hit popular podcast, Welcome to Night Vale, because we like doing it, because we're actors on the show, and I think it's important to have a historical record of what we think for future generations. Right now, tonight is Thursday, May 12th. In our world, it's 8:08 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we've got a big night ahead of us. We're doing episode 110, Matryoshka.
Matryoshka. The episode description is, there are glowing arrows in the sky. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Hal, what an episode for you. What a star turn.
I
Wow.
forgot. It occurred to me, I was like, oh, wait, aren't I in this a bunch?
Yeah.
I threw
would say
myself
so.
for a loop when I started listening to it. I was like, oh, that's me. What am I doing at the top of this episode? That's how long it's been since we recorded it. Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff here. Incredibly difficult for me to listen to because I famously do not enjoy listening to recordings of myself, because all I do is listen to it and say, I should have done that, or could have done that, maybe is the better way to say it. I could have done that about 50 different ways, but here's the thing. Night Vale has its own pace, and I came to Night Vale directly from Thrilling Adventure Hour, which has a very different pace. So when I come out, and when I came out during live shows, I always pushed the pace, because that's the world I came from. Is Thrilling is a lot faster, and we push stuff. And it's not one way better than the other. It's just what I was used to, and that's the energy I bring to stuff. But I encourage myself to slow down a little bit and find places to switch that pace up. And it felt like it's such a difference between how I'm attacking this and how Cecil's attacking this in terms of how it comes across, that that to me, I have trouble joining the two together because I just want to like grab myself by the scruff of the neck and say, slow down.
You know, I think we all have those moments when we hear a recording of ourselves and are less than kind when we take a look at when we hear it, because what you sound like in your head versus what is actually happening, there can be a huge disconnect there. But honestly, like the first thing I wrote down was Steve, like all caps.
I wrote Steve and then I drew a heart.
Aw.
And then further down, I found myself like really struck by your performance, Hal. So like, I know you might feel a certain way about it, but like it moved me. And seeing your monologue about your relationship with Cecil and like your relationship with Janice and Abby and stuff like that, it was really touching. So I know we're our worst critics, but you done good, boy. You done good.
Thank you. I don't want to know if we want to dive right into what's going on at the end, because I definitely have.
Yeah, we'll start at the beginning.
Yeah, we can start at the beginning. We'll get there. Or we could be like the time I had dinner with a bunch of JPL people. They're like, no, we'll do dessert first. Why should we do it the way everybody else eats dinner? We had dessert first, and guess what? It was great. Never felt better. But for this, it is interesting to get a little deeper into, like, Steve plays into all of the, it's felt like, just listening to it, like, oh, this kind of is in the pocket for Steve, because he's the conspiracy theorist. He's the one who sees things that nobody else either can see or is willing to see. So for him to be more blatant about it, maybe, or go deeper into it, I think was very interesting. It was very interesting to re-listen because I didn't really remember recording it at all.
Honestly, I love when I have those blackout recordings. Because I'm like, what did I do? Did some sort of spirit take over me? Like, or like when you come off stage and you're like, I don't know if I said all those words.
Yes.
But I think I did. I think so. It feels good. You have a little buzz, But yes, Steve, I think, while initially can seem like a conspiracy theorist, he was just so sincere and pointed about things, like the things that he heard, because we all as audience, as listeners, hearing Huntokar the episode before, right? And then Cecil saying that people were calling in to complain because they didn't hear the episode or whatever, but Steve heard it, So, I mean, even if other people were not believing, and I think that's the whole thing of this episode too, the people of Night Vale being so willfully ignorant, being so like willfully like dismissive of people that are out here telling the truth, facing up to the truth. This was such a poignant episode for me. And I think we as audience members, as listeners, can really appreciate what Steve is going through because we experienced it too. We heard what Huntokar said and kind of put those pieces together that Steve knew what he was talking about. And then you come on here and on this episode and just reinforce that. Chef's kiss.
I think that's kind of the tragedy of Steve, is he's the one who knows things in a place where people either willingly don't want to know or just aren't aware. Like there isn't curiosity. That's why Carlos stands out, right? He's like curious, and it just seems odd to either question things or want to find out about things. Steve knows stuff, and then that's offset by the things about him that are genuinely annoying. Like, he does put Comic Sans on a presentation. He doesn't take care of his car. He is a terrible baker. He is all of those things that would make him a grating person, even if he's sincere and kind, to people on the outside. You hear him talk about his scones, you go, oh, that's definitely not the way you're supposed to make them. Those would taste terrible. I would hate them. But
Yeah.
So it's counter, like he's the one who knows stuff and could help people, but he's obnoxious and in a place where you're not supposed to know things or allowed to know things.
It's a frustrating existence for Steve Carlsberg. And for those around him.
Yes. Yeah. Nobody gets the satisfaction they want, either of him not being there or him having people to listen to him. But beyond all that, he's a decent guy. And that's what makes him so much fun to play. It's like I like to play the decent guy, and everything else just falls. All the comedy and everything else kind of comes through that. And that's the writing too. It's not, it's all of us working together, but I love how well written it's just really well written prose to get to perform.
And it makes it easier to perform when you honestly can feel what they're trying to say, and you can express that, through your acting, through your craft.
Yeah. We talk about a lot how we don't really get a ton of direction, but I feel like almost the writing really does, it's kind of all there for you. And so it is that actors challenge to be it's there. What can I pull out of it? So it is they kind of set you up and then let you kind of take your shot with it. I think, a lot of the times it really is there in the writing. It's just, I think there's trust in our acting ability to find it, which is cool. And I think you really found it. And again, this episode has beautiful, beautiful prose. It is it was really swinging for the fences, especially when we get towards the end, Cecil's monologue towards the end.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Interesting episode, though. So a lot of stuff is going on. It's this sort of tying up of loose ends episode, but while simultaneously with a ton of action. So it's it's all
because there's so much destruction going on. Yeah,
so much destruction. Hiram comes back.
I know.
The world is melting. Everything's kind of falling in on itself. There's all the Russian doll stuff. It's just it's a big old episode. I guess it's the season finale. So they're just
Yeah, we're the recognition of the angels, that whole thing, old woman Josie's estate and Alondra, all of these things that have been, coming to a head these last, 20 something episodes, have been so amazing. It's so great that we can tie it all up in this episode. And, I don't mean to jump ahead, but and as we start, we learn the lesson right in the end, the moral of the story, things start to get better and better. Right? Yeah. Isn't that kind of what happens? It's when we really truly look at ourselves and realize that the lies we've told ourselves, the things that we let ourselves believe, the things that we don't recognize that are right in front of our face, you're able to make your world or your existence a better place. And you're not falling victim to these other realities, these other possibilities of realities that are going on, and the impending destruction of the world.
It's about being in the moment,
And then the flip side of that.
You own it. You never let it go. Right?
That's right. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes just
Mom's spaghetti, right?
Well, moms are sweaty. Vomit on a sweater already. Mom's spaghetti.
That's right.
I love the parallel of people who don't deal with a problem by just not knowing, and somehow that makes it better. That idea of, when you go to the bank to do anything, they can give you your account balance on the receipt. But if you don't get it, then you won't see. I don't have enough money. Rent is due. So if I don't have to face the problem, it doesn't exist, right? But it does exist, and it's gonna be it will be worse if you don't face it. But that idea of that is the attitude of, it's not knowing. Cecil knows that angels exist, but it's a lot easier to process and to not have to process or deal with it or even accept it. It's easier to just go, no, they don't. That's, if I on the surface can block it, then I don't have to deal with the truth that I know down inside, which is they exist, or I don't have enough money and I need to be more financially responsible. All of those things, they all parallel. It doesn't, just because.
Or even that your town is so weird and everything is not as it should be.
That things are messed up. Just saying that they're not messed up doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't want to get too into this because I people can believe whatever they want to believe, but I have a lot of problem with the idea of like manifesting something by like you can't speak things into existence. I don't believe that. I do believe that if you tune your mind to something, that you will see more of it, and that's like. Do you remember when you were a kid and you learned about dinosaurs for the first time, and then all of a sudden you saw dinosaurs everywhere, and it's like, it's so weird that I started studying dinosaurs, and then now everybody's talking about dinosaurs. They're all over the section of the library I go to, and that's not because of anything magical. It's just this is something you're tuned into and aware of now, so that puts you in a mindset to accept those things. So in that way, being positive or believing something or tuning yourself to something is going to create more of it in your life. But the truth is, it's always there. It's just whether you're choosing to acknowledge it or not. And that ties back into this 100%.
How? You don't believe in The Secret?
I don't.
You know how long I've been waiting to say that?
How long?
Since you started talking about not believing in manifesting, I'm like, oh, he doesn't.
I don't believe in
The
Secret. I don't, but I do believe there's I think there is a term for it, and I'm sure one of our listeners who's way smarter than I am knows what it is. But it is that is the truth, that you can tune yourself into things, which is why a mindset is really important. So what is internalized and what you believe and choose to focus on is absolutely essential to what happens throughout your life in a lot of different ways, because it's what you're looking for. You're always going to find what you're looking for.
I also do believe that if you truly are trying to like bring something into your life, you'll be taking steps towards those things, and they will come to you through your diligence and focus.
Yep.
And just a little bit of magic. Universe magic.
Sometimes things work out. You know? Sometimes you want something to work out, and it works out.
That's right.
I think
that's what I've been saying my whole life, and things have pretty much worked out.
What if it goes right, you know? What if it goes right?
That's right.
Speaking of not right, this part I found pretty disturbing is when Cecil says, "My brother returned to see me last night."
Cal.
Okay.
No.
Okay, yes.
No, it's so creepy.
But was it Cal or was it Kevin? Because this is my theory here, is that because it's every few steps he would fall only to get back up and walk slowly again toward me, a line of dried blood down the front of his polo shirt. The polo shirt is the thing that makes me think it's Kevin. Even it's probably could be Cal, but it's like
I think it's Cal. I think it's Blood Space War stuff, right?
Yeah,
it's getting involved in that the war.
No,
well, it's the bomb.
I thought it was because Cal is from the universe where the bomb did go off and everybody died, and he's now like bomb zombie.
Mm-hmm.
Bombi.
And that's a Bombi. He's a Bombi, and he's just in this reality because that's one of the realities that's being scattered across. But I did not think of Kevin at all. But I mean, you could be right, baby girl.
Well, I think it's like it's definitely it's Cal, but also like the polo shirt was the thing that made me think like, is it possibly a Kevin reference? Like possibly like a
double?
Because Kevin is sort of a double, yeah. So there is that sort of that relationship. He's not quite Cecil's double, but there's like anyway. While we're in the Russian dolls,
I never thought about it. Yeah, but that section was creepy AF. And if somebody was stumbling and bumbling towards me with their stuff falling apart like that, I mean, like boom, I'd be like, you need to get out of here. Because this is not cool.
Yeah.
I don't know you. You're not real. Cecil did tell him he's not real, which is probably hurtful to the Bombi.
Well, it's like telling an angel that they're not real when they're real.
Right. You might be real to somebody, but you ain't real to me. But you know what is real to me? Hiram and his pain. But I'm glad he took them dragons away, because they were, as I wrote here, they fucking shit up.
Mm-hmm.
They were They were busting up a shift robe in the town, you know? They were. Everybody had to run away, you know? Like, everybody was, like, scared. They couldn't do court because the dragons were wiling out, you know? But because Hiram came back and was like, yo, Hadassah, we need to go back to our planet or our world or whatever. It allowed Steve to be able to give his testimony. And you know what? Actually, I was like, for a while, I was like, who is Steve talking to? Because I didn't feel like you were talking to us, like the audience.
No, it was clearly a presentation because he had the boards,
like
right?
The listeners.
So you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the charts and whatnot. City was on fire, but now it's not because Hiram came back. He has to. Oh yeah, they stopped. Oh, I just wrote they stopped tearing up the place. These are my journalistic notes, you guys.
Yes.
By the way,
the quote "We cannot find forgiveness and relentlessness" that's primo.
Ooh,
primo, and
that's very good.
You know, I'm again like people are scared of dragons, so they react the way they react to Hiram, and after suffering this loss, he goes off and realizes that he's got to find peace within himself. And part of that is not – sometimes you have to forgive the people who wronged you in order to move on yourself, not because they deserve some absolution, but because it's the only way for you to let go. And there's certainly cases where that's not true, but by and large, you know, I mean, like if you're mad at your parents for something and you go to therapy – I believe inevitably you will come to a point where you have to either forgive them for their weakness or for something that they did that they weren't even aware of that hurt you deeply or left something behind. That's part of moving on, is saying I'm going to forgive you, and part of that is I am letting this go because it's bothering me and it's not bothering the person who needs to be forgiven. Yep. Exactly.
It's like you're poisoning yourself.
That's what the saying is. It's holding a grudge is drinking poison and hoping the other person gets sick.
Yes.
I'm, you know, and that's definitely something I've had to work on because I am a vengeful bitch. I am very, like, if somebody wrongs me, I feel I'm not going to do anything to you. Wink. But I will not wish harm on you, but I'll be like,
yeah,
and like just like leave that. But I will cut you out of, like, I cut people out of my life. I'm like, oh, you're a toxica.
Yeah,
you gotta go. You know, do you know what I mean? Because my peace can't be disturbed.
Yeah.
You know, and if what it takes for me to, I might not forgive you truly. Like, I will always know that you wronged me, right? Or maybe I can forgive you. I just won't forget.
Yep.
Maybe that's what it is. I will always remember what you've done, but you know, I will let it go out of my life because I don't want to be in pain over something that is not me. You know, I am not going to be in pain because someone else is bad.
You're not going to give them the power.
Yeah. Right.
You're not going to let them take your joy from you.
The best revenge is living well.
That's right.
Yes.
And baby, she living. She living.
You know who's not living? Old woman Josie.
Uh-oh.
Oh, old woman Josie.
Oh my God.
But so we sort of get this tying up of her life because there's with Alondra, and it's sort of really beautiful where it's like they figured out and then Alondra's like, I just want her stuff. Like I just want the heirlooms. That's all I want. I want to get to know her friends, which is really sweet.
I think that's also very sweet because they were there for her through a lot of stuff and helped her as much as they could. And it sucked that people wouldn't acknowledge that they even existed. And also, I think what a sad thing for even Alondra not to be able to know the people or the beings that were with her mother at the end. Do you know what I mean? Like, that were there, like, helping her and meant so much to her. You know, that stuff is important too. But I'm glad that Alondra is able to work it out. And she's going to stay for a while. Like she could leave.
It's the Hotel California.
At least she's not there against her will, though.
Right?
So, yeah. Another thing about this episode that I was thinking about, it's just like sort of how there's the bomb that went off, which relates back to the Death Bowman episode, which is the Able Archer thing, which is the Cold War stuff. And like all the Russian stuff, and then all the Russian doll things. It's just like a lot of really great storytelling and weaving through of theme and plot and dropping breadcrumbs of things. And just, it's like, I'm not doing a great job describing it, but it's the way that the story is painted. There's just like so many little threads that all sort of pull together.
I agree, Meg. You were explaining it quite well, astutely, if I may say so. But I would also say that in addition to that, like we found out more about Steve and Cecil's relationship. We found out more about his relationship with Abby and more about Janice. We didn't really know what was going on.
Right. We
were just like, oh, she's in a wheelchair. Okay, cool. And he's very protective and loving of her. Right. But finding out that she has spina bifida, and that's like, that's I think just an interesting fact when you like get a more fleshed out of a character. Do you know what I mean? You get to see more of a whole picture, and the timeline of when they got together and all that stuff, and how Steve has meant so much to all these people. That whole monologue was very beautiful. But I just like being able to, because we're so immersed in this world, but being able to get a little glimpse into why people act a certain way or what they've been through in their past that has led them to this moment now is just such a gift. As a listener, as an audience member, as another character, I love epic storytelling, but when it's done with such care and character development, it just makes it so much more special because you feel like you're peeking in on someone else's life. And a whole person, not just like a two-dimensional version of a person, or like we know them for one thing, but it's like I'm getting to see a more well-rounded figure.
It feels really real too. The story about how Cecil was there supporting Abby, and when Janice was a baby and she's sick and a baby, and like Cecil was like the guy, was there to be there for his sister and niece. And financially as well as like emotionally and physically. And then he felt replaced when Steve came in, and it shows us, it gives us a little bit more, because Cecil's sort of animosity towards Steve was a little bit shallow, not like, it was fine. We just never really went all the way. Oh, it's his brother-in-law, and Steve's a little chuggy. Like that's why Cecil is salty about him. But like actually getting to peel it back and go deeper into the Russian doll and see that it's Cecil's own shit. That's the problem, is that he felt replaced when Steve wasn't trying to replace him. Steve was just, was joining the family. And so it comes down to hurt people, right? It's Cecil's own shit that makes him have this relationship with Steve. But then, the fences get mended after we see why people are the way they are. Oh, also, side note, as a mom, it just broke my heart to think about Abby just like trying to take care of her baby who's sick, and she's all on her own. She has her brother. Like, it's just, being a mom's hard, guys. Being a mom's really hard.
Also, after basically raising Cecil as well, so she like had to grow up so early, so young, really, and give up so much of her life, and then becoming a caretaker is also very challenging. And I bet she was so scared.
Yeah.
And overwhelmed, like I know like just having a baby is challenging. But then being scared for that baby who's not doing well or sick has got to be so challenging and so scary. So I don't even know Abby.
I know. It makes me want to know more about Abby though. I feel like Abby is this like character that we're really in the dark about.
Yeah.
We need more Abby. We gotta, I just feel like there's so much story there that we.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
2023, more Abby.
Yeah.
Give it to us. The people are demanding.
The people want
we've
Abby.
never had I want to have an Abby to play off of. I love the character. There's a really fun piece. You know, obviously this is a turning point in the Steve and Cecil relationship, but also gives you a little bit more depth into Steve, because I've always played him, or at least early on, it was just everything bounces off of him. He's a golden retriever and he's happy to be there. He's burdened with this terrible knowledge, but he's happy to be there, and he blows through everything. And yes, he's hurt by things, but he ultimately wants to have a relationship with Cecil so badly that he looks past it. So but you know, that stuff hurts and it wears down on you over time, and you can't keep that up. And what Steve was doing is the same as denying how much is in your bank. And so when it gets to the point where he actually is like, stop, tell me why you hate me. And at least then I can know and we can work through it. Like because you can tell the worst is somebody's saying something hurtful then going, I'm joking, or joking in earnest. Like there's some truth in there. So it's like, cut the shit. Tell me what's going on, because we can't fix anything. We can both be miserable, or we can try to work through this and see what's going on. And that's where we get to the hurt people. And here's what Cecil's experience was like, and things that Steve wouldn't have known. He would only know them secondhand through Abby. And I don't know how much she would have talked about it.
Right.
So to hear it from Cecil, and it's more important to hear it from Cecil, that's the only way you can deal with it and go, okay, now I understand. So, you know, I miss as a performer going on stage and having Cecil hate Steve, because it's such a fun comedy dynamic to play. But the meat on the bone here, in terms of where their relationship goes, and much like actual people have to build, especially when they're related in some way, like you have to have a relationship with one another to a certain extent, because you share Abby. You both have a good relationship with Abby now. So you're going to be around each other. And for their relationship to evolve in this way is just really, really great. And it's just like a real gift as an actor to get this. And that is all I have to say about that.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you what, I know you have a lot of things to say, and we're going to get to that in just a second as we listen to our fans and friends of the podcast. But first, let's have a brief conversation about this episode's weather, which is Everyone I Know Will Die by Four Eyes.
Wow. This song is kind of a bummer, but
This is the title, it's the issue, or?
Yeah, is it getting you?
yeah, I mean, it had like a slow, I did like the harmonies. It was lovely, but I thought it was appropriate for this episode. I always try and I think of it cinematically in my head, like what's going on. And then like, while there was a lot of hubbub beforehand, before the weather, you kind of know, when I looked down and I was like, oh, there's like 20 minutes left on the episode. Like, I was like, I know there's a lot more coming. And I'm like, I wonder if in my head, it was like images of where everybody was, what they were experiencing, the challenges of like the sky being gone, like all that stuff, and the angels. And so kind of all those things were flashing in my head, kind of like when they do in a movie and it's like kind of memories, or like seeing like a disaster movie where you're seeing everybody like looking, and being like horrified knowing it's their last moments or something. So that's the experience I had.
Yeah. I just kind of bopped along to it while I Googled who Four Eyes was, which is normally what I do during the weather.
What did you come up with?
Oh, nice.
Four Eyes is Aaron Lovett, who is an Athens, Georgia-based singer-songwriter who makes folky, poppy music.
Cool.
Yeah, under the name Four Eyes. And Four Eyes recently released a 2021 album that was made in quarantine. So if you're into that, you might be into this. Or if you're into this, you might be into that.
You can get with this, or you can get with that.
Speaking of into something, what is inside a hot, crusty bread but cheese and meat? And theories, thoughts, and questions. Let's dive into the FanZone Calzone.
Yes.
FanZone
Calzone.
Stay right there. Good Morning Night Vale will return after a brief break.
So Carla writes, As instructed, I paused the episode so I could immediately write in my mind canon for the soft meat crowns. I imagine them as thinly shaved strips of beef, kind of like what you would use in a stir fry, and piled on the head. There's no infrastructure to keep them in place, so retaining one's meat crown is like an awful version of that old-timey posture practice of balancing a book on your head. Much love to you three. You make my evenings when I'm procrastinating getting ready for bed much more enjoyable. And Meg, I hope you enjoyed your first Mother's Day with your tiny human. Or at the very least, I hope you didn't end up with anyone's effluvia on you. Thank you so much, Carla. Love your mind canon, meat canon. And I had a lovely first Mother's Day, and being a mom is all effluvia. It's just, there's no way, I don't get through an hour without effluvia.
Now, Carla, you go to bed. Jerry writes, "Hi again, everyone. In honor of episode 110, Matryoshka, I have a brand new head bazooka, mind cannon? Pachelbel's cannon? That Night Vale itself is a series of Russian nesting doll-like towns, where each Night Vale is just the tiny center under Lane 5 in the next bigger Night Vale's Desert Flower Bowling Alley and Arcade Fun Complex. This, combined with the weird timey-wiminess of Night Vale, would explain why the sunsets are so loud, as the bowling lane is somewhat transparent and the daily solar cycle is literally just a weirdly glowing bowling ball rolling down the lane. The glowing arrows and the lines in the sky that Steve Carlsberg sees are just the markings you find on a typical bowling lane. In keeping with the fact that Night Vale seems to be an antiquated setting, as mentioned by Kevin during the Sandstorm episodes in the early days, the Hampton Inn just off Route 800 looks like a charming and fancy old-fashioned hotel. Think the Grand Budapest Hotel from the movie, but with the typical faded reddish-brown bricks you'd find on many houses. But to the residents of the next bigger Night Vale, the hotel literally looks like a cute little Barbie or Lego hotel with 3 stories and proportions relative to the humans who occupy it that you know don't make sense in real life. My theory for the soft meat crowns is that there is nothing holding them together. It's just a crown made up of ground meat. But at the front is a single slab of steak with the circular bone in the middle like from cartoons. Because of Night Vale's inherent weirdness, the crown just manages to stay together and somehow has persisted for centuries or millennia of the town's existence without rotting or even developing any kind of smell. The bone in the middle of the steak even sparkles, as it is situated where you might expect to find a crown jewel on a real crown. Finally, an apology to Hal from your future and my past. In an email I sent about an upcoming episode, I mentioned that hopefully by the time you read the email, the Raptors would be on their way to another championship after beating the Sixers in yet another playoffs in just 3 years. That clearly did not happen. Best of luck to your Sixers, and I hope you have all the best of times on your first tour since the panorama began. Jerry. Well, Jerry, let's talk about what happened in that series. Sixers won. Dirty Pascal Siakam injured Embiid. He was out for the first 2 games against Miami. We just got sent home tonight, which is a shame, but I love the people of Toronto, and I love several of the players on the Raptors. There are some likable players on that team, so best of luck to you in your rebuild, which seems to be ahead of schedule, and let's go Sixers next year.
Jerry, we love everyone from Toronto. Except for Drake.
Yeah, that's right, Drake.
Because he stole our merch one time.
He didn't.
He probably stole it.
He didn't. But I'd like to spread the internet rumor. Next up in the Calzone, we have Jeff. Jeff writes, my mind canon is this. Since they've always described them as soft meat crowns, I pictured deli meat piled on their heads. There must be some unseen structure to hold it in place. Maybe a wig cap and pins? But not enough to stop the meat from moving as they move. Sharp movements might even cause a piece to tear from its mooring and slip to the ground with a wet splat. Gross. Second dairy mind canon I thought of as I typed the above. Still deli meat, but rolled up like it was taken from a tray at a conference or a wedding and arranged like a powdered wig. Longtime fan, first time mind canon sharer. Much love to you all, Jeff. Well, Jeff, I like your mind cannons. I personally like the powdered wig idea the best, just because I find deli meat itself kind of disgusting.
What?
No, I like it on
but
sandwiches,
not on heads?
bro. Hold on, you didn't let me finish. Have you ever done that thing when you were a kid where you take ham and you cut out and you bite like 3 holes and then you slap it on your face and you're like, ham face? Have you ever done that?
I haven't done that.
I've seen it done and I hate it. So that's what I'm imagining.
I do, and I do know what you're talking about. Yes,
But you know what I'm talking about. You take us.
I've not done it though.
Hammy.
I like the thing that you do when you put it on is immediately go ham face. Here comes ham face.
Here comes ham face, baby. Well, friends, here we are again. Thank you so much for listening to whatever this was.
Texas chain restaurant massacre with ham face.
Ham face.
Ham face. I hope you all try your own version of ham face and send us a picture of it. Next episode will be 111, summer 2017, Night Vale, USA. But until then, good morning, Night Vale. Good morning.
Good Morning Night Vale is a Night Vale Presents production. It is hosted by Symphony Sanders, Meg Bashwiner, and Hal Lublin. It is edited by Felicia Dominguez and mixed by Vincent Cacchione. It is produced by Meg Bashwiner. Theme music by Disparition. Special thanks to our fans who submitted their thoughts this week. Leave us a voicemail at 929-277-2050 or email us at info@goodmorningnightVale.com to share your theories and ask questions. Or tell us about your plans for hot, gender, non-binary summer. This show is powered by our patrons like Jay Connett, Jen Riegler, Jennifer Coons, Jessamine Reed, and Jessica B. If you're interested in supporting the show in exchange for lots of fun, exclusive, insider, hyper cool kid content, check us out at patreon.com/goodmorningnightVale. For more info on this show, go to goodmorningnightVale.com and follow us on Facebook and on Twitter at Night Vale Chat. Special thanks to Joella Knapp, Jeffrey Craner, and Joseph Fink. Calzone ingredient of the week is essence of county fair, fried food, cotton candy, and farm animals on display.